How you doing? My name's Angelo. Welcome to Pasquinelli's Point. This is a YouTube channel. This is my first episode, and we are going to be talking about comics, TV, movies, sports, music, video games, all different kind of pop culture, different kind of relevant stuff. So with that being said, I'd like to talk to you about what I am going to talk about today. One, we're going to talk about the Crisis on Infinite Earths that just ended on the CW about a week or so ago. And two, I'm going to do a preview of the Super Bowl. So, with that being said, let's get started. So, Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you guys aren't familiar, there is a comic book by DC called The Crisis on Infinite Earths. Very good read if you haven't read it. A lot of team-ups, different kind of stuff like that. But I'm going to be primarily focusing on the CW version of it, which has to do with Batwoman, Supergirl, Green Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, mixed in with a few other people. Primarily, I'd like to talk about the things that I liked, things that I disliked, big impactful things that were in the show. I don't really want to go episode by episode and review it. So first, I'd like to start off with the cameos, and I mean, there was a ton of cameos. First things first, they show you Earth 89. You're thinking 89 Batman, which was pretty cool because you see the bat signal and everything. Robert Wuhl, the actor, plays Alexander Knox. In the movie, it comes back for a cameo for Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was pretty cool. They then jump to Earth 9, San Francisco, where they show you the Titans. If you haven't been watching Titans on the DC streaming service, very good watch. I definitely recommend it. Something totally different than a regular Teen Titans show. Then they jump to Earth X, which was in a previous crossover event, and they show the Ray, and the Ray is trying to save people, and his Earth basically gets destroyed. Then they jump to Earth 66. Burt Ward as Robin. Probably one of the coolest cameos in the whole thing, I thought. If you like the 66 Batman series, you'll love that little cameo. It's a nice little nod. The whole downtown is all like 1960s themed, and he's walking a dog, which could possibly be Ace the Bat Hound. So freaking cool. Never seen a live action Ace the Bat Hound. And then he shouts out, "Holy Crimson Skies of Death." Total Burt Ward 1966 Batman thing to say. Thought that was pretty cool. And then it jumps to Earth 38. National City, they show Will Wheaton holding a sign that says, "Prepare to meet thy doom, the end is nigh," which is an exact reference to Superman 2 of someone holding the exact same sign, which I thought was kind of cool that they did that. Then it bounces around to a couple different Earths, shows you a couple different things. They jump to Earth 74 to steal a Wave Rider, and Leonard Snart, who plays Captain Cold, is the voice of the Wave Rider, which I thought was kind of cool to bring him in the crossover, even though he's not really in the crossover. Then they jump to Earth 99, Gotham City, where we see Kevin Conroy. That's right, Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman from the animated series and the video games, in a live-action Batman role. He really never dresses up. You only see him as Bruce Wayne, but he has an exoskeleton, so you can tell that something happened to him. But I thought that was freaking excellent. I love to see Kevin Conroy. I wish he would do a live-action Batman, but I digress. Then it jumps to Earth 67, where they show Tom Wellington in Smallville as an older version of Superman, which I thought was pretty cool also. I never really watched all of Smallville. I saw some of it, but for all the fans out there, that was a pretty cool nod. They then jump to Earth 18 in North Dakota, where they're trying to do something to save the Green Arrow, and Jonah Hex shows up, which Jonah Hex has been in a couple things here and there. It's kind of cool to see him as a cameo. Then they bounce to Earth 203, where we see Huntress from the Birds of Prey TV show from like the early 2000s running around on rooftops. That was cool. They bounce to Earth 66, where Constantine goes to try and get into purgatory. He knocks on a door, and who answers it? Lucifer Morningstar from the show Lucifer, which did not expect to see. That was pretty awesome. The best cameo of all, though, Flash. Barry Allen Flash is running through the Speed Force, and all of a sudden he stops, and who's standing across from him? Ezra Miller Flash from the Justice League. I mean, that blew my mind. I couldn't even believe it. My jaw was literally hitting the floor. It was so cool to see a Justice League Flash and a TV Flash, you know, a movie and a TV meet up on a TV show that they said it would never happen. So that was pretty cool. And then towards the end, like after all the Earths, like, you know, spread back apart before they all blow up, they show a bunch of different things. They show Earth 2, they show the Justice Society, which is like the old version of the Justice League. They show Earth 12, and they show Green Lanterns. They show Earth 19. They show Swamp Thing, which is unfortunately canceled. If you haven't watched the first season, definitely recommend it. It's super cool. They show Earth 21, which is the Doom Patrol universe. And they show Earth 96, which is basically Superman Returns, Brandon Routh as Superman. He also plays like a Kingdom Come version of Superman, which I thought was pretty cool. That's it for the cameos there. I'd like to talk about some cool and impactful stuff I also enjoyed in it. There was a point where Superman and Lois, so if you watch the shows in Supergirl, Superman is played by a different actor, and Lois Lane, they put Jonathan Kent on an escape pod, kind of like how in the original movie they would put, you know, Clark Kent on an escape pod and send him to Earth, kind of thing. There was a point in time where a quantum tower popped up basically out of nowhere, and it's very similar to the cosmic tuning fork from the comics, which I thought was cool. Oliver gives his daughter Mia a Green Arrow suit, which is definitely setting it off for the spin-off, the Green Arrow and Canaries, I believe it's called. Earth 16, 2046, you see Green Arrow, who protects Jonathan, who just landed on Earth. He protects him, and you find out that he's missing an arm. He has a robotic arm, almost like a nod to the Dark Knight Returns comic book. Something else that kind of I didn't really like, so I guess I should say spoilers. Oliver Queen dies in the first episode. Not a huge fan of that at all. I mean, what got me started in that Arrowverse was the Green Arrow, was Oliver Queen. So to kill him off in the first episode to me was kind of stupid, if you ask me. It shows the iconic cover from The Death of Superman, thanks to Lex Luthor, with the flag in the ground, and it's all tattered and everything like that. I thought that was cool. Brandon Routh plays Kingdom Come Superman, which I thought was super cool. Amazing to see him back in a suit. I just thought it was so cool to see him in that Superman suit. I really wish they would give him another shot at playing Superman. When they're in Wayne Manor with Kevin Conroy's Batman, they have like a case. There's a Joker card with blood on it. There's a Riddler stick that's cracked in half. There's like a little globe that's got, it almost looks like Mr. Freeze's ice in there. And then you see a pair of Clark Kent's glasses, and they're shattered. So this version of Batman actually kills. Not a huge fan of that either, but I did think it was kind of crazy how they portray him as killing Superman. The Cosmic Treadmill makes an appearance, which I thought was pretty cool. Running on that treadmill was Jordan Wesley Shipp playing Earth 90's Flash, which was super cool. To be personally honest, I like Grant Gustin as Barry Allen. I just love Jordan Wesley Shipp. He's my favorite Flash. So, as I said before, Oliver Queen dies in the first episode. He ends up coming back later as the Spectre, but then dies again as the Spectre. So they kind of were just trying to prolong his life in the show for those 5 episodes just a little bit longer. I don't know why they just didn't leave him alive. All the show's Earths merge into one Earth, so they're now considered Earth Prime. So basically, you got Black Lightning, you have Supergirl, you have Batwoman, you have Flash, Arrow. Well, not Arrow anymore, but his daughter. They can cross over whenever they like in any kind of episode. At the very end, though, they do a tribute to Green Arrow. They put his suit in a case in like an empty hangar. What is what you think? Barry walks over to this table. He rips off this cover on the table, and it's the Justice League. It's the table with all the chairs around it, and it's got each emblem inside the chairs. And then as you pan out, it looks like the Hall of Justice on the outside, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm kind of excited about that. And at the very end, there was a cameo by Gleek the Monkey, who I believe is somehow involved with the Wonder Twins. That's a old cartoon reference for you if you didn't know. So let me talk about the things that I really, really loved. I was a huge fan of all the cameos. The cameos were amazing. I mean, I'd watch it again just for the cameos, just to see those guys again. Just 30-second, minute clips of these guys I thought was pretty cool. Brandon Routh as Superman, to me, was great. He really has that truth and justice aspect to his Superman, which I love. And then John Cryer as Lex Luthor, to me, probably was the best part. He plays an amazing Lex Luthor. He is great at it. I would never think he would be a great Lex Luthor. Amazing. The things that I really didn't like so much, I mean, if you watch the show, most of the acting is kind of corny. Some of the fight scenes are a little rough. There was a point in time where they were having a huge fight against these like demon hordes, and everybody's shooting them with powers and arrows, and there's just a regular guy punching them and they're disappearing. So I thought that was kind of dumb. The death of Kevin Conroy's Batman was incredibly stupid to me. There's like an open electrical box, and Batwoman kicks him on it, and he gets shot to death. Come on, for a guy who killed Superman, you think he would die that easy? No way. It really sullied the whole Kevin Conroy experience, because I definitely thought he'd be in it a little bit more, but oh well. It was still cool to see him. And then the last thing, Oliver Queen's death. I mean, this is a character that I've been with for 7 seasons, that I've watched his show, love the character, love the characters in his show, love Green Arrow. You failed this city. That to me is so cool. It's like a Batman without having a Batman. And you kill him off in the first episode? I don't know. Personally, that's my little take on it. I still think if you like the CW shows, it's still worth taking a look at. Check it out. You let me know what you think. And then the second part of this little podcast, I'd like to talk about the Super Bowl. So if you guys aren't into sports, I guess you can tune out now. But if you guys are, this is kind of my little preview for it. So basically, I did a little research, looked at the starting quarterback, the starting running back, the wide receiver, the tight end, and the defense. Got some stats, got some ranking. I'm going to tell you why I think who's going to win, not depending on who I got my money on, because that's a totally another story. But we'll start with Kansas City. Kansas City, their starting quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, everybody knows that. And that guy is unbelievable. He's made some throws that I've never seen anybody make in my life. I know I'm young. I'm only 29. But still, I'd watch Brett Favre play, and this guy can make some throws Brett Favre couldn't even make. So he threw for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Amazing season. Obviously, it's not the 50 touchdowns he threw the year prior, but who cares, man? I'd take that every single year from my quarterback. I am a little worried about it, though, because they might be able to San Francisco might be able to shut down the passing attack. So what I'll do is I'll bounce back and forth from one quarterback to the other quarterback, then one running back to the other running back. So we'll talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo, who played with Brady, well, under Brady, but under Belichick. He's thrown for 3,978 yards. So their yardage is pretty close. He's also throwing for 27 touchdowns, which is pretty good. But he threw for 13 interceptions. I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's the kind of guy who can make the plays that are necessary if he has to. He just doesn't have that Mahomes talent to me. So in that aspect of it, I got to give the tilt to Mahomes. I think Mahomes is the better quarterback. I mean, I take either one of them on my team. I take Mahomes over Garoppolo, not 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10. Every single time I take Mahomes over Garoppolo. Sorry, Jimmy G, like you and everything, but I got to go with my man Mahomes. Next, Kansas City's running back, Damian Williams, came on kind of towards the end of the season because I know at the beginning it was LaShawn McCoy was the starter. So Damian Williams, he's rushed 111 times for 498 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's okay. It's not great. Seen some guys do better than that. So I don't really know about Damian Williams, to be honest with you. He excited me in training camp. He excited me at the beginning of the year. And then I don't know what happened. He kind of disappeared. But he seems to be coming on strong towards the end. I see LaShawn McCoy was a healthy scratch in the last game, I'm pretty sure. Now for Frisco, since they have so many backs, I kind of did something a little different. I went with 2 different guys. But these stats kind of surprised me, actually. So Tevin Coleman has 137 rushing attempts, 544 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So he's relatively close to Damian Williams, I would say. But then you got to factor in the other guy, Raheem Mostert, basically coming out of nowhere, took me to a fantasy championship. I didn't win, but he took me to a fantasy championship. He also has 137 rushes, but for 772 yards and 8 touchdowns. This guy is on fire lately. I mean, it doesn't seem like anybody can stop him. He plays Tennessee. They're supposed to stop him. He runs for what? Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong team. Totally wrong team. They play Green Bay, and he runs all over Green Bay. I mean, all over. Like, it was unbelievable. That's the game I needed him to have to win me the fantasy championship. 225 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is ridiculous. What a great game. I got to give it to Frisco's running backs. It's, Damian Williams, yeah, could he make a little bit of noise? Maybe, possibly. He is explosive, but I got to give it to the running backs from Frisco. So now we move on to wide receivers. Kansas City, obviously everybody knows they got Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, the fastest player. He's got to be the fastest player in the NFL. Maybe the fastest player ever. I've never seen anybody running to score a touchdown and then their teammate shows up right next to him, running alongside of him. Craziest thing I might have ever seen. That guy's got 58 receptions, 860 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Well, I know he was hurt for a while. He could have had a way better season than this. He is so dangerous, it's not even funny. If you cannot guard him, I'm sorry. I like Richard Sherman. He might talk a lot of shit. I like Richard Sherman, though. Richard Sherman ain't covering him. I'll tell you that much. I don't know if there's a single DB in the game who can cover Tyreek Hill. Frisco has Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders played in Denver at the beginning of the year, comes over on a trade, has 2 good games, I want to say, right at the beginning. After that, he kind of disappears, then he reemerges again. Emmanuel Sanders, 66 catches, 869 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Hey, it's decent. It's decent. But I don't want to say anything bad about Emmanuel Sanders because I do like him. I think he's a good player. But I would personally have to say that Tyreek Hill, for sure, absolutely 100% gets my nod on the wide receiver edge. Then we go back to Kansas City, and we're going to talk about Travis Kelce. If you watch football, you know who Travis Kelce is. What do I need to say about the guy? Huge, great hands, perfect end zone guy. You know, he's a great receiver. 97 receptions, 1,229 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Come on, man. That's an excellent season. I'd like to see the touchdowns up a little bit more, but still, excellent season. This is where people might not like what I have to say. George Kittle for the San Francisco 49ers, to me, is a better tight end than Travis Kelce. He has 85 receptions, 1,053 yards, and 5 touchdowns. The same amount of touchdowns as Travis Kelce, 200 less yards, and 12 less receptions. Now you can say, Angela, what are you, crazy? Travis Kelce is a fantasy all-star. Travis Kelce is part of the reason that they do so well on that team in Kansas City. Don't forget that a tight end doesn't just catch, they block. And I'm not saying that George Kittle is the reason that they're so good at running the ball in San Francisco, but he's part of it. Definitely part of it. I mean, they got a fullback there. They play with a traditional fullback, which most teams don't. But to me, George Kittle is the best tight end in the league. I like Travis Kelce. I think he's a little bit soft for a tight end. George Kittle, you come into George Kittle's face, and he's not going to go down until 4 guys are taking him down. You want to face mask him, he don't care. He'll keep running. That's what I like about George Kittle. He's a hard-nosed football player, and I love guys like that. So I'm going to give the nod to Frisco. And then, of course, you got defenses. Kansas City's defense for the year was ranked 14th, and to me, they improved leaps and bounds since the beginning of the year. And then you got San Francisco 49ers defense. They're ranked number 2. And they have Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I got to give the nod to San Francisco. Personally, to me, I have my money on Kansas City, but Frisco's going to win. You can't tell me that San Francisco is going to lose when they can control the clock with 2 really good running backs and a quarterback who makes good decisions and the second-rated defense. Please, tell me otherwise. Tell me otherwise. I want to know what everybody else has to say. And this is my total synopsis. Kansas City started off slow in both of their playoff games, but they were able to overcome huge deficits. Down 24 to the Texans and 10 to the Titans. I believe they have the fastest team in the NFL, and they can score at any time. San Francisco is anchored by their defense and their run game. Old school smash mouth football, and I love it. They got a quarterback who's smart and doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I think San Francisco is going to win the game. Hey, everybody can be wrong. This is just my opinion. Everything I said here is my opinion. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to know your guys' opinion. So, like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to do a video every week if I can, if my schedule allows it. Also, comment on there. Tell me what you want me to talk about. What you want to hear what I have to say. A review of a movie you want or a TV show you want me to check out and talk about. You tell me. I like to know everybody's opinion. It makes for good topics. So thanks a lot for listening. And then we'll see you next week.